One. Hey, how's it going, guys? Jackson here with Toasty DIY, and today we're going to be taking a look at these Herdio speakers. And Herdio is nice enough to send both of these sound systems over. So we have two different ones to look at. We have the 6.5-inch two-way waterproof indoor-outdoor speakers, and then we basically have the same thing but 5-inch speakers instead. So as you can see, smaller box because smaller speakers. And to just go over some of the specs real quick, they are both two-way full-range stereo speakers with 1 PEI dome tweeter. Now the larger ones, the 6.5-inch, can do up to 400 watts, which is really impressive, and then the 5-inch can do 300 watts. They're both marine grade. They both do kind of look like general marine speakers that would go on something like a boat. They both have removable and anti-rust speaker grills, so especially in those very damp situations, you're not going to get really rusty and nasty speakers. You can use them indoor or outdoor, of course. They'll actually mostly be used indoor in my case. And then we actually have the dimensions of the speakers here. These are both Bluetooth as well. Both of these models, I opted for the Bluetooth versions. They cost a little more, but they do have the actual chipset built in to allow for Bluetooth. You basically just turn them on. They give you a little cue saying Bluetooth ready for pair, and then you pair it up. It'll audibly tell you that it's paired. And yeah, they're very simple. There's really not a whole lot to them. I'm gonna go ahead and open the larger one since I've already opened it. I kind of opened it and gave a little test run. So there's really not much to these boxes. You basically just open them up. There's some foam that you got to take out. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this on its side so that you guys can see everything a little better. It's gonna come with a pretty standard AC power adapter that does not require ground. So the power brick is a 24 volt at 3 amp output, so pretty simple. It does just use a standard barrel jack, so replacing that wouldn't be too hard. They give you some speaker cable. I'm not really sure how many feet this is. By the looks of it, I'd guess it's probably about 25 feet. They give us a manual that basically, once again, the speakers are very similar. You can get them in white and black as well, but very similar styles. And basically one of the speakers needs to be powered by this power brick, and then the other speaker is passive. So that's pretty nice. So you could have technically multiple speakers daisy chain off of your main speaker just with speaker wire. But yeah, the instructions are pretty simple. Pretty much everything's toolless. Obviously, if you want to mount the speakers, you are going to need at the least a screwdriver, but best case, you'll have a drill. It does come with this too, so that's a barrel jack to what I assume if you want to run your own power supply, or let's say you have like a powered stereo system of some sort, then you would use this guy right here. But I will just be using the supplied power supply for my units. So we're just going to go ahead and get the protective wrap off. They come pretty well packaged. You don't have to worry about anything happening in shipping. But as you can see, these are the larger speakers, the 6.5-inch. Both of them are in black. All right, so we got both the speakers unboxed. I'm gonna go ahead and, because I mean, there's really not much to see in the front. You can see the large speaker here. I can see a tweeter, and then what looks like, I guess you call it like the air output, basically where the large amount of bass has to go somewhere. But as you can see, the speakers aren't the exact same. One of them has your 12-volt jack, and then both of them have the positive, negative, or whatever you'd call it for a speaker, where you basically just have these barrel lugs that come out. Typically, yep, there's a hole right in the middle there. So basically, you just run this through here, and then you should, yep, just like that. You'll see a little bit of it sticking out, and then you just screw this down. And you can pretty much just do it like hand tight. These really don't need to be anything insane. It's nice being able to, like, if you ever want to change out the speakers or anything, not keeping these super tight. So I'm just going ahead and setting this up now so that you guys can kind of get an idea on what they sound like while we're in the studio here. But obviously I am going to be actually setting these up in two different spots. There's a reason I got two sets. One is going to be for the PC Bros, like basically our office warehouse, which would be really cool because right now we're just using a tiny little Google Nest speaker, and as you can imagine, you don't really get a whole lot of sound, you don't get a lot of range, you don't really get any bass at all. So this would be really fun because we're gonna get some serious sound output. And then you basically just plug this end in. Very simple, very straightforward. So we can go ahead and undo all of this. Now, from what I can tell, these things don't even have a power button. So if you really wanted to turn these off, you'll literally just have to unplug them or hook them up to like some type of smart switch. I assume that right now it's basically just like a standby mode. What all you gotta do is hook up. I don't even think they have a password or anything. I think you literally just open your phone up or whatever your Bluetooth device you're using, and then they'll pop up, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. So if you're a person that likes very simple, you know, rudimentary, there's not much to it, then these will definitely do that for you. But if you're like, you know, if you really want it to be really complex and everything, you're obviously gonna be spending probably a good amount more to get something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put our extra stuff here. So we're gonna go ahead and go in, turn Bluetooth on, and it may already sync up to them because I have connected these before. Yeah, and now these things are basically just set to be like full volume. And so obviously that's a situation where maybe, I guess if you did have it connected to a head unit, that's where you could have them powered on and off by the unit. So I'm gonna go ahead and just load up Pandora here. So we're just playing some Harris Heller, good non-copyright playlist. And yep, already I can tell both speakers are working. So yeah, these things, right now I'm using a lav, so you really can't even tell probably how loud they are because the lav cancels sound really well. But I barely have this turned up. Every single notch increases the volume substantially. So yeah, these things do not have a problem pushing some serious sound. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and keep up the unboxing fashion and go ahead and open up the smaller speakers. I expect the unboxing to be the exact same, but you never know. And I think these ones are actually white, so I guess the unboxing will be slightly different. No, they're black, never mind. We got white, or black speakers once again, which honestly I kind of preferred. So let's see, looks like we get, funny enough, I think this power adapter is different on this one. I guess it doesn't need to push as many watts, so why use the same one? It does come with the same accessory, same length wire. It does come with this guy right here that can handle your head unit or whatever else you're gonna use, amplifier. Now let's go ahead and unsheath these power cord for the power brick. I guess first thing we'll do is just go ahead and do what we did before. Let's just go ahead and get them out of the packaging. Now I expect these ones to sound probably the exact same in terms of clarity. I'll probably just get a little bit less bass since they're a little bit smaller, but I don't really know how much different it'll be. And once there's not a ton of people, right now we got a lot of people in our office, so we don't want to make a ton of sound, but later today will probably be when I actually mount these things and really get to hear, you know, just how great they sound. All right, we got everything plugged up. I'm just gonna go ahead and run this into the wall outlet, and then we should hear the same prompt. I do love how simple these are. I mean, there's really not much to this process. Oh, there we go. Oh, that was a little loud. So yeah, these ones definitely don't have quite as much, I can tell just because the other ones, when I barely had them turned up, they were definitely louder than these, but nonetheless, still really powerful. Yeah, not bad. They definitely still punch some bass for sure. So they both sound really good. Now at this point, we've done the unboxing. We just need to get them actually set up where we want them and then really fully test them out. Setup here. So I got the secondary speaker set up right here on a little gazebo. As you can see, good sized porch that wraps pretty far around. So yeah, I'm glad I got the bigger speakers for at home, just because I got a lot of area to cover. Got the other speaker right over here that I can kind of angle in whatever way I want. And I need to do a little bit of cable management, but hey, overall not bad. So this is the length apart. I used about all I could reach with the wire included. Now, I've messed with stereo system stuff a lot as a kid, and as many of you probably know, it is very easy to daisy chain other units off of the main head unit, which in this case would be the one that's powered. Now, obviously, the power output's all gonna depend on just how good the powered unit is, how good the amp is. So I would expect you to be able to run like some smaller, like little sub speakers, you know, off in other spots if you wanted to with much longer wire, and there to be minimal issues. But obviously the only way to do that is to test it. So maybe sometime I will do an update video where I try to run maybe 2 more speakers to like this side of the porch. But I'm gonna go ahead and, this song's not doing it for me. I'm gonna find a good little song here, and we're gonna play it. So now, one thing that you guys may have noticed is the way that I set them up in the warehouse, I actually used our Google Nest Mini, and this is the 2nd generation one. And if you go into your app, you can actually set up Bluetooth. So I actually have it to where the ones at the warehouse are actually Bluetooth to the Google Mini. So all we have to do is say, hey Google, and then just play whatever you want, which is pretty cool. All right, I guess that'll do. I was trying to find some more fun upbeats. So as you can see right now, I'm gonna try to get us to about halfway. Yeah, halfway is loud. So I'm wearing a lavalier right now, so as I said in the video before, it does a good job at kind of hiding outside sounds, but I'm sure you guys can probably hear this pretty freaking clear. A lot of really good bass too. Like these things really hold their own when it comes to the bass section. So it has, you know, honestly overall, really good highs, lows, mids. I gotta give these speakers a really good rating, especially for the price and the fact that it's just so simple. Like the fact that I can literally just get on my phone, Bluetooth in, or I can hook up a Bluetooth device permanently and just literally say, hey Google, hey Siri, hey, whatever, just play some music and, it'll work just fine. So in terms of simplicity, I gotta give it a 10, And in terms of the price, I think it's a 10. I don't have a whole lot to compare it to, but I'm overall liking them. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, which I hope you did, make sure you leave a comment, make sure you leave a like, check out our other 2 YouTube channels, and of course, we will see you guys in the next one.